You know that feeling when you walk into a room and your shoulders just drop? When your breathing slows without you even trying? That's not in your head. That's your nervous system recognizing something it's been screaming for. Something most of us haven't given it in years. And it's not meditation. It's not a vacation. It's wood. Real, solid, mountain timber. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. And there's actual science behind why your body is begging for it. We've built ourselves these perfect little boxes, haven't we? Smooth drywall, clean lines, everything painted the same neutral beige or that trendy gray that's supposed to make us feel calm. And yet, we're more anxious than ever, more stressed, more disconnected. We blame our jobs, our phones, the state of the world. But what if I told you that the very walls around you right now are part of the problem? See, your nervous system is ancient, millions of years old. And for most of human history, it developed in one specific environment: nature, wood, stone, earth, the irregular textures, the organic patterns, the subtle variations in color and grain. Your brain learned to process safety and calm through these exact visual and tactile cues. And then, in the blink of an evolutionary eye, we locked ourselves in synthetic boxes and wondered why we feel like caged animals. There's this thing called biophilic design, and it's not some trendy wellness buzzword. It's the study of our biological need to connect with nature. And researchers have found something fascinating. When people are exposed to natural materials, especially wood, their stress hormones drop. Their heart rate variability improves. Their parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest and recovery, actually activates. But here's what's wild. It's not just about being outside. It's about being surrounded by the right materials. Drywall doesn't do this. Vinyl siding doesn't do this. Those fake wood grain laminate floors, your nervous system knows. It can tell the difference between a photograph of a forest and actually standing in one. And it can tell the difference between synthetic materials and the real thing. Think about the last time you were in a modern apartment building. Fluorescent lights, white walls, maybe some mass-produced art from a big box store. How did you feel? Now think about the last time you were in an old cabin or a rustic lodge, or even just a room with real exposed beams. Different, right? That's not nostalgia. That's your biology finally getting what it needs. And this is where the mountain timber barndominium enters the story. Because someone, somewhere, figured out how to bridge this gap. How to give us the space we need for modern life, while feeding our nervous system what it's actually hungry for. We share new content regularly to help you create spaces you love, so don't forget to subscribe. A barndominium isn't just a barn converted into a home, though that's where the concept started. It's a complete reimagining of what shelter can be. High ceilings with exposed timber beams. Walls where the wood grain is visible, touchable, real. Massive posts and trusses that make you feel small in the best way, the way standing under old-growth trees makes you feel small. Protected, but connected to something bigger. The mountain timber aspect? That's crucial, because not all wood is created equal. When you use reclaimed timber or heavy-duty beams from mountain forests, you're not just getting a building material. You're getting wood that has a story, knots from where branches once grew, color variations from decades or even centuries of weathering, irregular grain patterns that your eye can actually explore, unlike the perfect monotony of drywall. Your nervous system reads these variations as complexity, as nature. And complexity in nature has always meant one thing to your ancient brain: abundance, safety, a rich environment where you can thrive. When you're surrounded by perfectly smooth, perfectly uniform surfaces, your nervous system reads that as artificial, as sterile, as potentially unsafe, even if you can't consciously articulate why. But it goes deeper than just what you see. It's what you hear. Sound behaves differently in a timber structure. Drywall amplifies certain frequencies and deadens others in this weird, unnatural way. It's why modern apartments always have that slightly echoey, slightly muffled quality. Your conversations sound different. Music sounds different. Even silence sounds different though you might not realize it until you experience the alternative, what absorbs and diffuses sound in a way that mimics natural environments. The acoustics are warmer, richer. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means to me, and it helps keep the design ideas coming your way. When you speak in a timber barndominium, your voice doesn't bounce back at you with that harsh edge. It settles into the space. And your nervous system, which is constantly monitoring your environment for threats, registers this as safe. As right. Then there's the smell. Real wood has a scent, subtle but present. Especially timber that's not sealed under layers of polyurethane. That smell contains organic compounds that your olfactory system has been processing as home and safety for millennia. Modern homes smell like nothing, or worse, like synthetic materials off-gassing chemicals your body doesn't recognize. Your nervous system is always working to categorize these signals, and when it can't, when it encounters something that doesn't fit its ancient database, it triggers a low-level stress response. And then there's the space. Barndominiums typically have these soaring ceilings, these open floor plans that don't feel like open concept in the modern sense. Because modern open concept still feels constrained. It's usually just rooms with the walls knocked down, leaving you with this weird liminal space that doesn't know what it wants to be. A barndominium's openness is different. It's vertical. Those massive timber posts aren't trying to hide. They're the architecture. They define zones without closing you in. Your eye can travel up, following the lines of the beams to the peak of the ceiling, and something in your chest expands with it. It's the same feeling you get standing in an old cathedral or under a forest canopy. Oh, not the Instagram-able fake all we chase with our cameras, but the real thing. The kind that makes you take a deeper breath. This matters more than you think. The spaces we inhabit literally shape our nervous system. Small, compressed spaces with low ceilings trigger our threat detection systems. We feel boxed in because we are. Our posture changes. Our breathing becomes shallower. Our peripheral vision narrows because our brain is in low-level defense mode. But give yourself vertical space, especially vertical space defined by natural materials, and everything shifts. Your posture opens. Your breathing deepens. Your peripheral vision expands because your nervous system reads the environment as safe enough to monitor broadly instead of focusing narrowly on potential threats. Let's get specific about what's happening in your body. Your autonomic nervous system has two modes: sympathetic, which is your fight or flight response, and parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest state. Modern life keeps most of us stuck in sympathetic dominance. We're always on alert, always ready for the next email, the next demand, the next crisis. Natural materials, and specifically wood, help shift you into parasympathetic mode. Researchers in Japan have been studying this for decades through something called Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. They found that exposure to wood and forest environments doesn't just make people feel better subjectively. It measurably reduces cortisol levels, lowers blood pressure, and improves heart rate variability, which is one of the best markers we have for nervous system health. But here's the kicker. These benefits don't just come from being in the forest. They come from being around wood, period. If you love this type of look, hit that subscribe button to help us create more videos. And let us know in the comments what you'd love to see in future videos. Studies have shown that people in rooms with exposed wood surfaces show similar physiological benefits to people actually outside in nature. Your nervous system isn't that sophisticated. It can't tell the difference between a real forest and being surrounded by real wood in a built environment. It just knows what equals safe, what equals nature, what equals where we evolved to thrive. Compare that to what most of us live in. Drywall is gypsum sandwiched between paper covered in synthetic paint. It's designed to be cheap and easy to install. That's it. No one designed it thinking about human neurobiology or our evolutionary needs. It's an industrial-age solution to a housing problem, and we've just accepted it as normal. But normal doesn't mean optimal. Normal doesn't mean healthy. We've normalized living in environments that our bodies experience as subtly hostile. And we wonder why anxiety disorders are skyrocketing, why we can't sleep, why we feel restless in our own homes. The thing about nervous system dysregulation is that it's cumulative. It's not usually one big thing. It's 1,000 small things that your body is constantly processing as not quite right. The flicker of LED lights, the off-gassing from synthetic carpets, the acoustic deadness of drywall, the visual monotony of perfectly flat surfaces, the absence of any connection to nature or natural materials. Each one alone, probably manageable, but all together, day after day, year after year, your nervous system never gets to fully relax. It's always working just a little harder than it should, and that effort adds up. You feel it as background stress, as vague dissatisfaction, as that sense that something is missing, even when your life, on paper, looks pretty good. This is what makes the mountain timber barndominium so profound. It's not just a different aesthetic choice. It's a different approach to shelter that actually considers what humans need at a biological level.